Promise you, once you understand that the reason why this man rejected you or the reason why he broke up with you is because your inner goddess is summoning you back to rise into your divine power, you will never see relationships, and in fact, you will never relate to yourself the same way. But let's rewind a little bit. Us women, we are creatures of emotion. We're creatures of being, of intuition, of feeling, of nurturing. And very often, when we fall for a man, we fall for the potential of who he could become for us and what could potentially develop. And so we kind of live in that future sort of illusion fairy tale of how can I develop this? How can I tune my energy into him and almost leave my body and leave my container and take my energy and put it in his body and amplify what he has so that he could become the potential that I see. He could become that for me in my 3D reality. And that is where we disconnect ourselves from our source, from our feminine center, from our inner goddess. And maybe at the beginning, our energy is too influential to the relationship or to the partnership, and we see progress. We see what we like to see, and we think, yeah, that is him. It is working. Everything is working. It's unfolding just as I wanted it to unfold. But some time passes and we begin to see indicators, the little signs that we need to return our energy back to center. We need to connect back with ourselves and lift off our energy of the relationship and let that man be. Let him be the man that he truly is, and see if indeed he can give you that potential without you influencing the relationship, without you influencing the connection. And so what happens is the feminine is disconnecting from center. She is disconnecting from her source, because us women, we have that inner goddess within us, which represents our connection with the universe, the way how we create into existence from the non-physical realm into the physical. And so as we begin to disconnect from ourselves and lose that spark of our divine goddess, of our inner goddess, we start to almost suppress our intuition and we put ourselves in a waiting mode. We wait to see how things will unfold. And so we slightly but surely start to forget to take care of us. We forget to nurture ourselves. We forget to pour into ourselves. And our focus is predominantly on the connection and on that man. And we disconnect from our womb center. We disconnect from feeling and being, and we rise into our mind, into our masculine mind, and we fall into thinking and analyzing and predicting and planning and trying to figure out what step is coming next and what stage is the connection moving into. And so slightly but surely we find ourselves in a place where nothing makes sense, and we feel so lost and we feel so confused and we're full of doubts, and we begin to see issues and we begin to face obstacles in our lives, and suddenly nothing is flowing. And the next thing that happens is that connection breaks down, and that leaves us wondering and questioning our self-worth and questioning our intuition, because initially we saw the potential, we saw how the relationship could develop, but did we trick ourselves? What happened? I'll tell you what happens. You being rejected or you being broken up with by another person doesn't mean you're not beautiful, you're not enough, you are not worthy, you're not lovable, or any of those labels. It simply means that your divine feminine power, your inner goddess, your dark feminine energy whatever you want to go by, is summoning you back. And the reason being is because you've abandoned yourself. That's it. See, relationships are beautiful for the reason that they mirror and reflect back at you the energy that you exude towards yourself. And so when you get rejected by another person, even if it's not a man, you get rejected at an interview, or you get rejected by somebody you thought was your friend, that means that somewhere deep inside you are disconnected. A certain aspect of you is disconnected. And the dynamic of the connection is just mirroring back at you where you need to love yourself a little more. And when I say love yourself a little more, I don't refer just to taking yourself on a solo date or going to a spa. Of course, these are beautiful, and if they make you happy, if you feel amazing when you do them, you do that. But I mean the deep self-love that puts you on your throne. Because I've said this before, I'll say it again. Every woman is a goddess. And unless you learn to worship that goddess, and when I say worship, I mean acknowledge your needs and your dreams and your desires, and put your needs and your dreams and desires first. So unless you learn to acknowledge and worship your goddess, you're never going to be happy. Nobody else is going to come and make you happy, because they will just mirror that energy back at you. So when you see that way, isn't that breakup going to be your biggest glow up? Because let me tell you, it is, and I'm speaking from experience. So if there is one thing I want to leave you with, is this: nobody can reject you. It's your inner goddess that are summoning you back to step and rise into your divine feminine power. It's your dark feminine energy that has been put in a box. And ladies, your dark feminine energy is your powerful energy. If the light feminine is the sweet, the soft, the vulnerable, the curious, the free, then the dark feminine is the sensual, the seductive, the confident, the mysterious, the powerful one. And so, if you came to a place where you got rejected by somebody, that means that you put your dark feminine in a prison box, that she was suffering there, she was suppressed there. Did you express how you feel? Did you express what you think? Did you communicate how your needs were neglected by you, by yourself? You neglected them. It's not the other person, it's you. So how do we glow up? We glow up when we choose ourselves, when we choose what makes us happy, when we break out of the prison box we kept our dark feminine. We rise into our power. We feel confident in what we do. And if we don't like something, we rebel against it. Because that is where freedom comes. It comes when you choose to step into what makes you, you, the uniqueness. You acknowledge and you accept and you embrace the wildness, that wild woman within you that doesn't sit and wait around for things to happen. She makes things happen. And she doesn't make things happen from ego or because she wants to make somebody regret. She makes it for herself because she knows that at the end of the day, she's enough. She's sufficient. And the fact that somebody doesn't align with her is just another blessing of the universe. And it's just clearing her path so she can move on and she can continue falling in love with herself and her magic. And so, let me know, how do you feel now after you've heard all this about yourself and about your inner goddess call? And most importantly, are you going to acknowledge her? And if so, how are you going to do it? What is the first thing that you're going to do to worship your inner goddess?